I honestly have not seen anyone so wrapped up in a whole thing that is unique to themselves since, I don't know, The Undertaker. And she's not doing, a half-ass horrible podcast now.
Oh, photos from Toni Storm last night. Let's see them. I don't have... Yo, that's hilarious. Shit, they black and whited her. Bro, is that from? It's from CMLL's official one too. That rules. Hold on, let me open this bag. So the other thing I wanted to watch today was RJ City. What's Francine's podcast? I wanted to watch him. Is this it? Queen of the Street? RJ City Talks. Okay. All right. This is the other thing I wanted to say. Yeah, congrats on... that's a good... Yeah, Alexandria, I want to talk about that. Alexandria is right. Congrats to Toni Storm winning PWI, topping the PWI women's list. I think the top 250, right? And hold on one sec. James is in the chat. So you ordered just exactly one taco? Yeah, on accident. I meant to order 2 tacos, and I got queso with chorizo in it. Love that. I like my cheese drippy, bruh. I can't find Lunchly anywhere, so I got to eat from our local Mexican restaurant. But back to what Alexandria is saying. Let's talk about Toni Storm topping the PWI women's top list, the PWI 250 for the women's. Yeah, she completely deserves it, 100%. Let me close off my green screen there. She deserves it. There has not been a better women's wrestling story in the last... I usually just say in the last 20 years. But when I think beyond it, when I think beyond the last 20 years of pro wrestling, I don't think there's been a women's wrestling story that's as good as what Toni Storm and Mariah May have been telling over the last year. I think this, and I know there are going to be people who are like, there's no way. But I challenge you to think, after I say this, this is the best women's wrestling story that the United States has ever seen. And I truly mean that. I truly mean that I can't think of a better story that has ever been told in American women's wrestling. I know I'm not, maybe I'm missing something. Maybe I don't have as deep of knowledge as somebody does in women's wrestling in America. And I'm willing to listen to anybody who says this is better. I will gladly look into it, because that means it's probably a good story. But the story that Toni Storm and Mariah May told was ripped right out of the pages of Hollywood. And I'm not sure that if a lot of people know this, but it's based off a movie called All About Eve. All About Eve. Was All About Eve? I'm like, hold on, I'm pretty sure. Yeah. All About Eve. This film from the 1950s. So, this is the movie that it's based off of. This is like prime... Yeah, Alexandria's right. This is like prime golden age Hollywood. This won the Oscar for... here it is. There you go. This won the Oscar for the year, for like screenwriting, I think movie of the year. Okay, the film stars Bette Davis as Margot, a charming, highly respected but aging Broadway star, and Ann Baxter as Eve Harrington, an ambitious young fan who maneuvers herself into Bette Davis's life here, Margot's life, ultimately threatening Channing's career and her professional relationships. So this is exactly what it was. Like she takes care of this girl, brings her into this whole new world. That's what Toni Storm has done to Mariah May, only for her to take advantage of Toni Storm when it was advantageous for her, when she had reached a point to where she thinks Toni Storm can no longer elevate her career. This is also why it's Toni Storm does the black and white gimmick, because this film is from black and white Hollywood. This movie made $8 million back in the day. Holy crap. That's a ton of money. Where is the awards? Here we go. So for the Academy Awards, it won Best Picture, Best Director, it won Best Screenplay, it won Best Costumes, Best Sound Recording, and it was nominated for Best Actress, and then the Best Supporting Actor won. I mean, they absolutely cleaned up at the box office. And this is kind of what I think we should be doing in wrestling. There's so many good things to be pulling from. What's like the theory that there's only really like 6 stories to be told? Like every movie or every story or every book is just like a deviation of like 6 specific stories. I forget what it is, but like we should really just be pulling from this. And I really regret not doing that when I was more involved in the professional wrestling space, of just saying, why don't we just do like Heat? Like, why don't we just do like the wrestling version of The Godfather? That would be tight. Like, we really should have. Like, I love that they're using movies and screenplays as like as jumping off points. Obviously, it's similar in the story. It's obviously not the exact same. There's a lot of differences, but I think using characters that have been established and people like is a great way to continue to make wrestling more palatable for the average fan. A lot of times, if you can see like something you're familiar with, I think that's going to be helpful. Yeah, Alexandria, someone said the current thing with BCC is taken from Romper Stomper. Yeah, Jon Moxley's character is loosely based off the vibes of, and that's a great point, because there's also something I want to talk about. And I've talked about this a few times, but I have a new thought on this. So the movie Romper Stomper, if you're not familiar, which you probably aren't, right? This is a 1992 cult film from Australia. And I'll just read like the synopsis. A group of skinheads become alarmed by the way their neighborhood is changing. So it is the same, like people are automatically saying, well, that makes Jon Moxley a skinhead. Like, no, dude, his character is likened to this person. For example, if anyone has been following Jon Moxley's career as long as I have, shout out to my friend Jesse, who showed me like a CZW promo of him like in a field, like, I don't know, a decade and a half ago or something. About a decade ago at this point. Anyways, Jon Moxley's character, he did this in substance in WWE with the way he would cut promos and stuff in the Shield. He was channeling the Joker from The Dark Knight, right? Heath Ledger's Joker. He was channeling things and taking things from that performance and bringing it to his new character. That didn't mean that Jon Moxley was the crown prince of crime. It's the same thing here. Jon Moxley is taking this stance of alarmed with the way their neighborhood is changing. Much like Jon Moxley is alarmed with the way that AEW has been changing, where people are celebrating and dancing when there's not celebrating and dancing need to be done, where there's work need to be done. It's not... You're focusing on the wrong part. And that's what, like, I think there's a lot of bad faith takes out there. People are like, ooh, that's a bad thing. Like, it's not the part that he's taking. That's not the part that he's taking for his character. Do you want to know why? Well, typically, skinheads, neo-Nazis, and fascists don't necessarily, and hear me out on this, like immigrants or people of mixed race heritage. And I'd like to bring your attention to the BCC AEW. Let's look at those people. Who makes up the BCC? Where's a whole picture of them? Oh, come on. Where's the good one? Group. Come on, folks. Anyways, I can't find the one that I'm looking for. Okay, here you go. Is these all the people in it? Not everybody. All right, they added some other people who aren't technically in it. But here's some people who were... Where is the BCC 2024? Come on. Okay, that's a back photo of them. Dude, it really shouldn't be this hard. Anyways. Hold on. I don't want to click on that because I might get hit for like watching something that's a do they just not have any pictures of the BCC really together? Dude, that's ridiculous. Anyways, I'm going to just use this picture here for now. So I want to point out that the people in this photograph here, hold on, let me just go to this page. Don't show me the BCC. The people in this picture, part of the BCC. Danielson was on the BCC. He's not there anymore, right? Cool. What I was talking about earlier with the fascist skinheads and neo-Nazis typically don't like immigrants or people of mixed race. I'd like to point out Swiss immigrant Claudio Castagnoli. I'd like to point out English? He's English. Or Welsh. Damn, dude. I'm sorry, Pac. From Great Britain, Pac. I'd also like to point out half Japanese man, Wheeler Yuta. The other person in here, Marina Shafir, which I don't think there's a picture of her. Another immigrant from, where's Marina from? She's from, not Moldova. Where is she? She's Moldovan. Yeah, she's Moldovan. I'm sorry, but the people who are going to say like Jon Moxley is he's doing a skinhead thing, like he's not. This isn't American History X. This isn't that at all. And that's what I don't understand. Yeah, Brila is mixed, and then Pac is from Newcastle in the United Kingdom. Okay, that's like a city, I think. I'm not that familiar. But the reason I bring up those two groups, right? There was a report that came out that RJ City and the writer, I don't know if people are familiar with RJ City. He is a writer and former wrestler. He writes for AEW. He does AEW. I don't know if you've watched this show on. Wow, it's just purple. Whatever. Okay, I don't know if you watched his show on YouTube. It's great. I think he's absolutely hilarious. He's very funny, and he's the type of humor that I enjoy. Now, it said that RJ City is running 2 storylines right now. Now, I don't necessarily know if this is true, but I will say that Tony said to be running the Toni Storm storyline and the BCC storyline. I will say that the Toni Storm storyline seems a lot like the stuff he'd be into. Old Hollywood. So I can see that. Now, I don't know if he's necessarily running the BCC storyline. If he is, RJ City is fully in his bag right now. Dude is killing it. If this is him doing both these stories, make him write all the stories. Not all of them. Just write some. But RJ City talks. I'm calling RJ City right now the brain trust of AEW. The dude is like the best writer they have. If he wrote both of these stories, right? So RJ City is going to sit down with former ECW legend, right? Francine. So I've never actually watched her podcast, so I'm excited to see kind of what it is. So let's get into it. I'm going to eat too.
The one thing I will say that I heard, and stop putting yourself over and just be the straight man for a second, because I do want the real story on this. Yeah. Toni Storm.
Yes.
Okay. She has blown up. She is doing such great things. I'm such a fan. I love the throwback to the 30s, the 40s, whatever it is. And then
she's timeless. She's timeless.
Okay. But then I hear
I love his lower third. It just says television personality.
A lot of inspiration came from you. And you would give ideas from older movies because you are an 80-year-old man trapped in a 30-something-year-old body.
Well, that to be true. I am an 80-year-old man.
Yeah. Forever.
I will say I think there's a lot out there that's a little presented more simpler than it is. I think the real story is a lot more complex. I always throw out ideas when it comes to capturing cinema that kind of thing. What about this old movie? What about that old movie? So I guess in a sense, I would perhaps have been a cinema consultant in a sense of helping the crew capture the essence of Toni Storm. In the beginning, I was in a couple of her films. I introduced a few of them.
Right.
And I will take credit, despite what Tony Khan wants to say. I will take credit for getting Ben Mankiewicz involved. Turner Classic Movies, Ben Mankiewicz. That was a me because I said, hello, I'm not Ben Mankiewicz on Dynamite. And then that turned into us being able to work with him, which was the highlight of my life so far.
Of course it was. Well,
But go ahead.
No, I was just going to say what I heard, they credited you for a lot of her character brought onto the screen in a wrestling aspect.
Yeah, James, you're right. He's more involved than he's saying, and I respect that. Yeah, I agree, James. He is humble in it. He is, humble in it right now, which is good. I like that. Too many times in the wrestling business, people just try to put themselves over, and he is trying to he's like, I'm just going to humble it until my final days.
It was like RJ has contributed so many different ideas.
I would say taking any credit for Toni Storm is so wrong because she's so fantastic. At this point, there's no character. I don't know anything else. But
wait, let me rephrase it. Not taking credit for her performance or her wrestling ability, because we all know how talented she is. It was just the ideas that framed the gimmick, so to speak.
But I would say this: she makes any piece of shit work. Because she's so talented and so committed, and I can come up with dumb ideas all day. I do them every Sunday, but it's her that makes it work. And I honestly have not seen anyone so wrapped up in a whole thing that is unique to themselves since, I don't know, The Undertaker. And she's not doing, a half-ass horrible podcast now. You know what I mean? She's not wearing weird problematic shirts and being like, wrestling is about telling stories. Thanks, Mark. I really appreciate it. What?
The thanks, Mark, is really funny. I just love that, Undertaker's name is Mark, because when you refer to him as Mark, it works in two senses. And, I love that. He and Will chat saying he and Will Washington are top hires for the company. Yeah, Will Washington's allegedly writing the Hurt Syndicate stuff, which I think I'm really into so far.
I'm saying.
I also can't wait for all the bad faith takes if the Hurt business is all black wrestlers. People are going to be like, Tony Khan booked them all together. You'll be like, well, you're almost getting the point. You're almost there. Keep pushing.
What? That show's not weird. He shows weird. The guy's weird.
What?
He's a weird man.
Are you
back in my day, it was a lot better. When you were, I'm sorry, were you always dead? Did you start off dead? Would you like to explain that?
Thank you, RJ City. Thank you, RJ City. I love that. I love that people are like, wrestling's too hokey nowadays. Like, The Undertaker was an undead mortician who could wield the power of physical lightning. What do you mean that guy can't have his hands in his pockets because it's not realistic? The dude could have hit you with a lightning bolt. Why didn't The Undertaker ever? I'm sorry. Those tough matches against Brock Lesnar, where you lost the streak, why didn't you just hit him with a lightning bolt? Just sit up, like James in chat, sit up, no sell, lightning bolt. I love that too, because there's no doubt in my mind that there was some old timer seeing The Undertaker come out as a zombie, essentially, and they all had to be like, these new guys are killing the business. These new guys are making a mockery of it. Back in my day, we just had tough guys, and now they have zombies. Dude, Undertaker, it's him and Jim Cornette represent a long line of guys who have just been past their time. And I'm sorry, if you think of these two guys as tastemakers still in the professional wrestling business, buddy, Your AARP card is in the mail. These two guys are so out of touch. It's just, it's ridiculous. And yeah, Gallifrey in the chat's right. Remember Bastion Booger, the Boogeyman, Papa Shango? Yeah, man. We used to have dumb, like, unrealistic gimmicks about, I mean, in regards to Papa Shango, I'm sure that those are not looked at favorably for certain people. LOL. But what I'm saying is, we had, like, the fact that we give certain types of wrestling a huge pass, right? Whether that's the Undertaker's character work and things of that nature, or even some things in the ring. So a lot of one of the biggest reasons why I decided to go with Suplex for Suplex Media is that it is ingrained in the culture of professional wrestling that a suplex is just fine. Like I'm talking about vertical suplex in this case. But when you think about it, you think about the physics of picking up another man over your head and holding them up in the air, and they're straight up, and then you slam them down to the mat. That is the fakest looking thing on the planet. Go try to do a stalling vertical suplex in a street fight. Go pick somebody up over your head. You can't. You can't do it. I'm sorry. But we give that a pass because it's just become, it's become commonplace. And eventually all the stuff that we complain about in pro wrestling now is just going to be commonplace. I don't want to be the old man yelling at clouds as I get older. I want to keep changing with the times, because I feel like by changing with the times, you're going to be able to offer new perspective on those times due to the fact that you have a little bit more history of where the business has come from. I think Jim Cornette would be a fantastic wrestling mind if he just continued to develop with the times. He could have been on so many booking committees right now, be like, hey, we could use this old thing that we did that was really good, and we could modernize it, because I don't think there's anyone who knows those storylines better than Jim Cornette. But the fact that he gets upset about a tope to the outside disqualifies him from having a real job other than talking into a microphone, which is a real job. It's not lost on me that I am talking into a microphone. It's also not lost on me that I'm not making the same money Jim Cornette is to say dumb things on the internet. And I'd like to.